y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video I wanted to cover a few little things about astrology, and I hope that these little things that I will share with you today can help you better on your journey to learn astrology and figuring out your birth chart or somebody else's birth chart that you know. So I am going to do a series of these videos. It's not going to be something that I was going to try to compile everything into one video, but I feel like that video would be really long, and if you're trying to learn astrology or if you're new to astrology, that's just a lot of information at one time. So I decided to just break it down a little bit. So we're going to do the first section today, and then each week I'll post a video detailing about different things. So the first thing I wanted to cover is, what is astrology, right? So astrology basically is the study of the stars, and it also gives us insight on how different stars or different planets position, and when they move, how they influence us as individuals but also as collectives. And another way that we look at astrology is by the houses. So there are 12 houses in astrology, and each house is naturally ruled by a certain astrological sign or zodiac sign. And so those signs are Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. And so naturally those houses, or those astrological signs, rule houses 1 through 10 respectively. So naturally Aries rules the first house, naturally Libra rules the 7th house, and then naturally Pisces rules the 12th house. Now when you're looking at your personal birth chart, it's not going to look like that, because your birth chart is basically a snapshot of where the planets were, where stars were, where everything was the moment that you were born. So that's why it's important to know your place of birth and your time of birth to get a really accurate reading. Okay, so each zodiac sign falls into a different element. So we have Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Those 3 signs represent our fire element, and I have notes here because I have like definitions in my head, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit more in-depth idea of which each sign, or which each element, you know, how they influence different things. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was, like I said, the fire element, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So those are fire elements. Those are usually the people that are the initiators. Those are the people that we call to, you know, light a fire in our asses. Those are very spirited people. Those and fire signs are also really creative people. So if you have a sun element, or you have a lot of fire element into your chart, in your birth chart, then you may be a really creative individual. The next element is earth, which is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So where those signs are in your birth chart may indicate where you may be a little bit more reliable in, or a little bit more practical in. Those are the people that money signs are usually good with money as well too. Did I say money signs? I meant earth signs are really good with money. You know, they're just solid. Those are the solid people in our lives. So the next group is air signs. So that's Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And so wherever this is in your chart, this is these people are usually the intellectuals, the ones that advocate for change, very smart, chatty, witty. So where you have that area, wherever in your chart, maybe where how you process things differently, a little bit more on an intellectual level, or more so on the mental level. The next group that we have are the water signs. So that's Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And these signs are known to be really, you know, more of the empathetic, or more of an empaths. These people are also known to be really intuitive and into their emotions. So, you know, you're really dreamy. They really feel their emotions. They go through that emotional process. And what else? Oh, and these people are also really nurturing as well. I wanted to add that these are our nurturing friends, you know, siblings, spouses, partners, whatever. These people are naturally nurturing as well. So, what else I wanted to cover is the different planets that go into our birth chart. So, let me make sure I got my stuff. So your sun sign is basically where you shine at. It's your ego. It's where you show off, you know what I'm saying, what you have. Is basically the first, well, it's a tie between your sun sign and your rising sign, but those are the main two things that people meet or see when they meet you. So the next planet that influences us is our moon sign. And our moon sign gives us ideas on how we handle things emotionally, how we feel. This is where we deeply feel it. So if you have a Cancer moon, then naturally you're going to be really intuitive. You're going to feel feelings really deeply. You're going to feel the feels really deeply versus somebody that has like a Gemini moon. You're probably a little bit more analytical, you know, logical. You know, you have to process things mentally before they actually hit you emotionally. So your Mercury gives you an idea of where you talk and listen and how you express yourself. Mercury is a planet of communication. So wherever Mercury is in your chart is how you communicate. Okay, your Venus is related to how you beautify things, how you love as well. So, you know, if you have a Leo Venus sign, then you, or Leo, if you have Venus and Leo, then you might be really boastful in love. You know, you might fall in love really easily. You know, you might be really proud and all that kind of stuff. You might like to show your partner off, or you might even like to impress your partner. Like that's maybe how one of the ways you express your love. So wherever you have Mars in your place is where you're the most courageous, where you're the most likely to, you know, prepare for battle, if you will, because Mars is that planet of action. It's that planet of getting things done. It's also the planet of destruction. So it could give you insight on some like destructive behaviors that you may have, or it could just show you where you're really spirited in, where you really strive for the best, you know, where you go after whatever you want, where you're the most courageous in your chart. So the next sign I want to talk about is Jupiter. So Jupiter is widely known as a planet of luck and a planet of expansion. So I say the planet of luck, but I want to talk more about the planet of it being the planet of expansion, because wherever Jupiter is in your chart is where it amplifies things. So it could be positively expected, and then that's, in my opinion, where the luck comes in at. But if it's negatively expected, then, you know, it might not be that great. So if you have Jupiter and Virgo in the 6th house, you maybe deal with a lot of illnesses, you know what I'm saying? Or you may deal with a lot, or maybe even help people with a lot of illnesses as well. But wherever Jupiter is where it expands wherever house it's in. And then also too, on the negative side, Jupiter can be where you're overly optimistic, kind of foolish as well. Saturn is known for the planet of being the disciplinary planet. Saturn is known to force you and encourage you and influence you to get your shit together. You know, a lot of people don't like Saturn. When you watch a lot of astrologers talk about different planets, you know, a lot of people seem to dread Saturn, but in my opinion, Saturn is that strong father figure. You know what I'm saying? In the house, it's gonna make sure you do your chores on time. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna make sure you study, because once you take care of the small things, or you take care of the small responsibilities, Saturn also can reward you for being practical, for following the schedule, for, you know, being more responsible, basically. Okay, so the next planet is planet of Uranus. Some people say Uranus, but I learned that, grown folks say Uranus. So wherever Uranus is where you dare to be different, where you may view things in a eclectic type manner. It's where you're non-traditional in. Uranus is the planet of transformation, not transformation, it's the planet of revolution, things changing, rapid change. So this is where you do things differently than most people, wherever it is placed in your chart. So if you have Uranus in the 4th house, which the 4th house governs the home, your family and stuff, then you may raise your kids a little bit differently. You may decide to homeschool, or you may just do stuff differently than people traditionally do it in society. And then where you have Neptune is where you're inspired, but also Neptune is a planet of addictions too. So wherever Neptune, and the reason why is because Neptune is a planet of like dreaminess, illusions. That's why it's in a water sign, or it influences Pisces a lot. And Pisces are known to be really dreamy, in their head, daydream, like basically daydreaming. So that's and they get that influence from Neptune. So like I said, this is where you're really dreamy at. This is where you also can be divinely inspired. You may even get divine gifts or get divine insight wherever Neptune is placed in your chart and whatever house it's in. So now that we covered the zodiac signs, we covered the elements, and we covered the planets, the last thing I want to touch bases on is our rising sign. So our rising sign basically is how we socialize with people, how we interact with people, how we come across, how we dress. So, like I said, I don't know if it was in this video, but I know in one video I was talking about how the sun sign and our rising sign are almost tit for tat, but some people say that your rising sign is the most important because that's what people feel and see when they first meet you. And so if you have, and also too, your rising, whatever zodiac sign is your rising sign, is also your chart ruler, if you will. So if you have a Libra rising, then Venus is your chart ruler, and you may overall you may be somebody that's really into beauty, somebody that's into music, somebody that is really creative, artistic, or really be into the arts. If you have a Gemini or a Virgo rising, then that's that Mercury energy and influence. So you may be really good at communication, you may be really good at technology, you may like video games, you may like computers, you may be really tech savvy and really good with your words as well. You may be a natural communicator if Mercury is your or Gemini, Virgo is your rising sign, which is influenced by Mercury. So that's it today. That's all. Like I said, I was gonna make a long video, but I just didn't want it to be overwhelming. So I pray that this little bit of knowledge can help you along your journey, and come back here next week to see another video about our houses in astrology. All right, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching my channel, and peace.